through a time portal. Back to the year that was 19. On this journey will be Craig, Werner, Lisa, and myself. Where's Michael?
He was mouthing off, so I kicked him off the team.
Figures. We will have an interaction with one of the greatest minds of our time, Dr. Erich von Hippel. Now, since this is our interpretation and our time portal, we were able to take certain liberties with being able to transport the technology back in time. So come along on this journey, won't you? You shall now see our interaction with the great Dr. von Hippel. Dr. von Hippel, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us today.
Hi, what's going on here? Who are you people?
You might appreciate this as someone who loves innovation. So you are talking to us, we are in the year 2016, and we are talking to you via a web camera that you see right above your computer, and we can see you live, and you can hear my voice coming from 2016.
2016, so the Mayans were wrong then. Good to know. What do we want to do today?
So we wanted to just pick your brain on sticky. You've written a paper, so we want to talk through that, get your thoughts on it. Dr. von Hippel, tell us a little about your life journey.
Okay, well, I was born in 1941. I grew up in Weston, Massachusetts. My father, Arthur, was also a professor at MIT. He was a professor of material science and physics. I'm a Virgo, born on the same day as LBJ, Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman. And I somehow know that you guys are from VSP, and Don Oakley also has the same birthday. So, and when we're talking about VSP, actually, my uncle Eugene von Hippel, he was a German ophthalmologist.
That's interesting. Pee Wee Herman wasn't born at this time.
Who?
Doesn't matter. Let's move on. So what started you down your sticky path?
So, sticky, yes. Well, I told you last night I started thinking about it after I hit my head on a toilet seat. So, what happened was sticky information. I started thinking about innovation. So, we'll talk about innovation. And I always wanted to be an inventor. And I remember creating new things when I was a child. In fact, you can see I still like to play with Legos and make things out of Legos, just kind of keep myself occupied. I hope you don't mind if I play with some Legos a bit right now.
No,
go ahead.
No, that's like you can keep playing with yourself if you want. So, how about your education?
My education, and please call me doctor. So I started out in Harvard, pursuing an undergraduate degree in liberal arts. Did a quick stint in biology and history, so that was a big time no for me. It didn't match. Moved on to MIT for a degree in economics. So after that, I did some inventing and innovation, played around in that game for a bit, and then I came back to MIT for a master's degree in mechanical engineering, which is sort of my defining degree.
So, Professor, you started your own business after MIT, right?
Yeah. You know what I really enjoyed was working at McKinsey and Company. That was a management consultant firm, and they really believed in developing young college grads, hiring young college grads, and I think that was pretty great.
So, while growing up, who were your idols that led you to become who you are today?
Idols, well, I had a high school biology teacher, wonderful guy. Kind of taught me to see things in a new light. In high school, you're learning a lot of things for the first time, and a really good science teacher can show you a different view of the world. That was great. And Jean Piaget, psychologist and philosopher. Jean's area of study was focusing on learning about the stages of children's lives. Did that through observation, and showed me the power of the scientific method and the insights it can give you into the natural world and into people.
Any children carrying on innovation tradition, Professor?
Yeah, and you can call me Eric, actually. So I do have children. I've got a family. My wife, Jessie, is an amazing editor, and she plays a mean game of tennis. My son, Eric James, he studies the Japanese language and culture. And my daughter, Christiana, she has a master's degree in public health. Went to Indiana University. Really smart girl. First recipient, actually, of the Ryan White Legacy Scholarship for her work in promoting sexual health. And now, I remember when she was young, I would make up cat bedtime stories for her, because cats are really her favorite animal, and those were good days, you know, having young kids. Actually, I think in my family, closest to my path, it's probably the family cockatiel named Merlin. Now, oh hey, Christiana.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey. Okay, that's weird. So the cockatiel Merlin, though. I really think he may be the smartest of the bunch. I've been working with him. Well, this is a long story. You were asking about innovation, Sticky?
Yes. Want to discuss a little about your work, but at this point, let me introduce you to my colleagues who will ask, if you don't mind, a few questions, Eric.
That would be great.
Okay, so I will introduce you to my colleagues, Verna, Lisa, and Craig. And then, question?
So, hello, doctor. Just, can you please explain what sticky information actually is? I understand that you dreamt about it last night.
Absolutely. So, last night I had this idea of this metaphor for information, calling it sticky. Basically what the concept of sticky information is, there are certain locations, where information is easy to obtain and difficult to move. For instance, if you have a laboratory and you're doing a lot of experiments in the laboratory, you have physical specimens, you have big databases, and sheets filled with all kinds of information about the experiments you're doing. That information is kind of sticky there because it's difficult to take all of that knowledge and take it to another place where innovation actually needs to happen. Now, the way you evaluate that with the sticky information, and maybe we can get a little bit more into this, is looking at the cost of unsticking the information, and sometimes that's cost prohibitive.
And that's actually the next question. So can sticky information be unstickified? Have you invented that word yet?
Unstickified. No, that one's yours. We'll have it added to the 2016 dictionary. So, no, I'm taking it. Unstickifying information is possible, but there's a cost. Sometimes that cost is prohibitive, as I said before. When information is sufficiently sticky, there's a decision that needs to be made. Do we move the information, or do we move the innovation, or do we iterate? So let's say there's a situation where there are two loci of important and very sticky information. Okay, let's say there's the users and there's the lab, and it's very difficult to bring these two together. Engineers in the lab, users, they have this information that's very sticky. So what one might do to innovate is simply to iterate. The first iteration may happen with the users. The second iteration may happen with the engineers of the laboratory. And, oh, hey, Christiana. So what happens is when there's an iteration, it moves back and forth. And maybe there's third and fourth and more iterations even at more locations. But this is one of the ways to solve and to, if not unstick the information, at least to adapt to the fact that it is stuck at different loci.
I apply the concept of sticky information to aid in my job.
Well, what's your job?
I don't know, random thing, respond.
Yes. Well, in a industry like that, innovation is probably key, maybe one of the biggest advantages you can have. let me put it like this. Let's say,
Playing Legos? Can I play?
yeah, sure. Yeah, take that.
Thanks, Daddy.
So, if you're in a field that requires a lot of innovation, which it sounds like you definitely are, one thing that you can do is recognize that the information necessary for innovation may not be in the location where you're attempting to undertake the innovation. So, a lot of times, people become focused on one locus, rhymes so you know it's true, and forget that there is crucial, sticky information at other loci that they need to access. So in your case, in the industry that you just mentioned, you might look in other places to find out if there's information that's sticky that you have not put the time and effort into accessing.
Any words of wisdom for the Sac State EMBA students watching at home?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the best way to innovate is really if you don't like something or you need something and you don't have it, make it yourself. Think about in the past when people wanted to ride around town, they made skateboards because they were bored. They had nothing else to do. They created something that added value to a lot of people's lives. Scooters, same thing. In fact, someone should add a little motor to a scooter. I don't know. Anyway, just always go out and find some way that you can solve your own problems, and that makes you a lead user. That makes you a locus of information that can go back into the system and create innovation.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the innovation industry you think that we should be talking to?
Absolutely. So, who do I know right now? So, Nathan Rosenberg, he's of Stanford University. Hold on. Hello? 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 Are you there? Who? Hello? They hung up. That was weird. What the hell was that? Okay. Anyway, Nathan Rosenberg, Stanford University. His research looks at the economics of technological change, economic role of science, economic history and development. Professor Richard Nelson of Columbia University, he focuses on processes of long-running economic change. Particularly, he emphasizes technological advances. Ann Carter of Brandeis, who specializes in the fields of changing specializations of business and workers, economics of information, technical change, technology transfer. And let's not forget Dr. Nicholas Franks of the Vienna University of Economics and Business, who I believe is a great influence in the field of product innovation. He actually heads up an institute on lead user innovation methods and also focuses on... It's happening again. What the heck is that? And we'll just go mute here while I look around for stuff. And you guys can do some other thing.
So what are your plans for the future, Dr. von Hippel?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Well, so first, obviously, I'm going to write up all the stuff I've discovered about sticky information and turn this into a thesis. But I think long term, what I'm going to do is get more invested in the newspaper industry. So get this idea. A phone number that you call and someone reads you the newspaper. I think this is the kind of thing, you invest in that business and you just put it on the side and it really starts to make some good money for you. And you guys can't steal it because you're in 2016. Okay, well then, how about this? I will take all the different currencies of Europe and change them from one to another. Lira into Deutschmarks, into francs, into, you know, whatever else they got over there. Is that good enough? Has that been ruined in the future? And in fact, speaking of Europe, you know, I really think that somebody needs to figure out how to really get shipping down between East and West Germany. That's the kind of growth business that really you could make something out of.
That, Dr. Eric, Professor von Hippel, was phenomenal. We could keep talking for a lot longer, but I know you're a very busy man, especially with a daughter running around. Do you have a little bit more time for a couple of questions from the class?
Yeah, yeah, I think I can do that. Let's you're there with the whole class. That's great. Let's ask some questions. Absolutely.
Thank you. So we'll open it up for the floor at this time for any questions.
Great question. So, you know, in terms of the regulatory environment, right?